What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the A Show with the Kings of Pro Wrestling Podcast. I am Justin, here with Meelz. What's up, Meelz?
Whoop-de-doo is all I can say. Yo, what a meme. I've been meaning to ask you because I haven't actually been following the Young Thug thing as closely as I probably should be, considering about how much everyone talks about it. But I also feel like there's a Black Print episode with you talking about this anyway. So
no, not this current stuff. No.
Okay.
No, we're going to probably record that.
Not week. Black Print. Please excuse.
Don't steal this podcast. Yeah.
Don't steal this podcast. Why did I say it like, please excuse my social, anti-social? Please excuse me. Like it's Roddy Ricch.
No, I mean, generally, it's what I said on Twitter yesterday when I was hopped up on coffee. It's fascinating. I think that it's so rare to see rappers in general be candid. I think we see pop stars do it all the time, right? Like they always talk about what's going on. And so to see a rapper do it is incredibly harrowing. I think his story is, regardless of how you feel about him, his story is meaningful and it's interesting. And I think that it deserves to be talked about. And, whether you, a lot of people say that, like, whether you agree or not, like you have to fuck with the fact that he put it all out there. You know what I mean? Like that's really important.
Absolutely. Also, just one other thing. TikTok is a very strange place. And I'll let you know because I just came across an account called the Brooklyn Pisser. Mm-hmm. And so it's this guy who goes to various places in Brooklyn and starts peeing on the places. And legitimately the Brooklyn Pisser. And then everyone in the comments are just like, do Medgar Evers next. Do Franklin Delano Roosevelt High School. Do South Shore. And I'm like, bro, what a world we live in. So yeah, TikTok is its own world. I fully love it, fully support it, never let it leave. With that said, we should probably introduce our guest because we are not here alone today. We got a lot of stuff to talk about.
Oh, the whole lot of stuff.
Yeah, we got the whole gamut to kind of really discuss today. But we are not here alone. We have none other than the man, the myth, the legend himself, Chris Novak, back to the show. 400 episodes. Listen, this might be the shortest gap between the time we've had a guest on and forever. You was on episode 400. Now you're on episode, like, was it 408?
Yeah. For 9, I think.
Yeah. Welcome back, Novak.
Thanks for having me, guys. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, listen.
We only bring you back if there was like something incredibly earth-shaking that happened. And I think we've got there.
Absolutely. But, how have you been, man? How's everything?
Everything's good. Everything's all right. Just down here in St. Louis still, just hoping to find work at some point. But for now, just taking care of stuff, taking care of myself. I need to get my car washed is one thing I need to do very badly.
Yeah.
It's a need. I'll leave it at that.
I saw someone on TikTok essentially saying, I soak my car before it rains. And then I don't know if that's a healthy way to go about it. I don't own a car. Every 3 months, I tell myself I want to buy a car. And then it's usually actually Rob and Nelson who are like, don't get a car. This shit is whack.
For New York. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but they have cars.
Yeah, I know. But they need cars, though, don't they? Like, don't they travel a lot?
I mean, they do need cars. I don't know. I can't speak for them in terms of their need for an actual car, but they have cars, and I feel like it makes their life better. In my situation, like, it would bring such a level of convenience for me to have a car, but the costs associated with cars turn me off every single time.
Yeah, car note isn't not important. You know what I mean? Like, it's definitely a thing, but why not?
I have to do something cool out here in Missouri, and that's I have to pay a property tax every year on my car. Which sounds ridiculous, and it is.
Same out here in California, depending on what is it, like the year of your car, how long you have it goes down every year.
Yeah. I've got to pay like 30 to 40 every year or whatever. It's not like crazy, but I still got to pay that fine every December.
Yeah, you guys have lower property taxes on cars than I think we do. I looked at my wives the other day and I was like, fuck.
Jesus.
Yeah, because I was late on it one year and I didn't even have to pay that big of a late fee. It was only like $5 more or so. So
yeah,
must be different out here, I guess. Damn.
Yeah, we're in the hundreds. I just leave that up for interpretation.
Cha-ching. With that said, there's so much stuff to talk about. I don't even know if we want to, because I feel like we could talk forever about the thing about wrestling is, right, which I talk about it with other podcasts, and I've had conversations about people who want to start podcasts, conversations about things. This shit don't stop. For whatever reason, there's some news, there's some situation, there's something that goes on. There's a car that honks in the background every time I speak, but come on now. All right. But with that said, there are like big things that have happened this week, both on the AEW side and the WWE side. Now, when we say big, it's definitely like matter of perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
About things. But I just want to, because I kind of want to start things off, Justin. I don't know if you have any more banter in you.
No, I don't. I actually just want to start because I think now that we have Novak here, we could get to the real.
Okay.
That's why I love when he's here, because we get to the real, and there's a how did we get here moment.
Absolutely.
That last week that I can't wait to talk about, because we've been talking about this for forever, and people call it.
All right. So what do you want to talk? Do we want to talk AEW or WWE first? Like, what do you think is?
You got to talk AEW. We got to get to how we got here, because
let's talk about it.
Because ultimately, we're looking at kind of a. I think I'll steal this from the guy Mox, kind of like an inflection point. You know what I mean? Where there's a point where you got to look in the mirror for AEW, and
sure,
I think we're at that point now with what we saw last week.
Absolutely,
475,000 people watched AEW Dynamite last week, and that's incredibly concerning. In no uncertain terms, nobody wants their show to go that low.
Well, it's a double concern, basically, because they're also coming off of the lowest Collision rating of all time, just in general as well. It's a week for lows, which to me, I feel like. And then also, I want to like kind of like sprinkle in this news also. Last week they announced, again, Wednesdays, the big drops Wednesdays. They announced that HBO Max will be now providing their pay-per-view for their customers. Yes, everyone will have to pay. I believe it's $39.99.
Yes,
which is a discount from, I guess, normal pay-per-view subscribers.
It's a $10 discount that they're selling as an exclusive price for HBO Max members. Which, I mean, usually. We know these BS terms when they happen for subscription services. Like this is nothing new, but like I just think that it's so funny that they're literally selling it right back to you. You're essentially paying the same that you would have paid anyway.
Yeah, I think even a little bit more. To be honest with you,
yeah,
you're actually probably paying a little bit more, considering the fact you're paying for the monthly subscription for Max, which at this point is. I don't remember how much Max costs at this point. It
depends on what you're getting. I think at the highest tier, you're paying around $21, $22. So it ultimately ends up being $50 regardless.
Right. So that was announced. It was something that has been coming for a while, something that AEW has wanted for a while. Who knows where that will end up, right? Considering everything that's continuing going on with the Max and Discovery, Warner Brothers and Discovery, where HBO goes and where the future of that is, and where Discovery goes and where the future of that is, and how what does this really play under, as there's been rumors of TNT Sports coming out with its own separate app, which will be bundled into ESPN and Fox, and if AEW will be a part of that, or won't they? And it'll just be a part of entertainment, and it goes on the normal app, but it's still not really. It's under the sports thing for HBO, so it's kind of like a weird mix of it. I don't know if you've been able to grab anything from that, Novak, of like where you think all of this will probably like end up at.
It's what I think is, most concerning really is just that they don't seem to have any answers. Nothing that they do seems to be moving anything. And, they're in a position where, no, I don't think that right now or this year they have to worry about getting canceled or something. But, the downtrends keep going that way. And, you mentioned the thing with streaming. And I mean, at this point, it's like, I don't want to say why bother, but shit, like you still got to do it pay-per-view while having a subscription. They're still getting you for a ton of money, and they're clearly still tethered to the pay-per-view business to the point where they have to keep doing this, and they can't be like their, rival competitors or whatever, where you pay a flat fee and that's it.
Yeah. And it's a dying model.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, there's almost nothing on it anymore. But they have to keep it that way. And I don't think that's a great sign for them, just in terms of their overall health. Just because, like, if you're that tied to something so archaic at this point, it's tough to see a reasonable outcome there. And just as far as their shows, like, I don't know what you do.
Yeah, I think a lot of people look at their shows and like. It's to a point, and I don't want to like get on their fans too heavy, but like it doesn't help the growth of this show that the fans are so removed from what actually makes this type of stuff successful. If that makes any sense, like
yes, I agree.
I think that it does not help anyone being this delusional about what you are seeing on your TV every single Wednesday and Saturday. Nothing is connecting. I know coming out of All In, everyone was like, we are back. We are firmly back in the driver's seat. That is not happening. We're not seeing that. No one believes that. Who is back?
No one other than AEW fans. But even they, they're not even tuning in. And it could be, I was like, it could be a thing of like people slowly gravitating towards the streaming. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's people gravitating towards HBO to watch it. And it's just happening at a much slower pace, not even slower pace because it's been like 9 months. So maybe it's happening at that pace and they're just continuing to lose viewers there, but most of it's being reflected in Max. Now, we don't have the numbers for Max. They don't have the numbers for Max. No one has the numbers for Max. All we have are indications of whatever Meltzer believes that he thinks it could be, depending on whatever it is, but realistically no one has the numbers for Max, so it's we can't even support that theory with actual numbers or viewership other than I saw SRS. He's been going on Twitter and polling people. It's like, how do you watch the show? And most people online are just pretty much going to say like, yeah, we watch it on Max. But
that's ridiculous.
But I think the majority of folks still, there's still a value in television, and the numbers being like this are definitely concerning. And it's like you said, Justin, people aren't really taking a strong look at themselves and being honest with the show. Like you see the numbers trending down, the attendance trending down, everything kind of like, morale is up, I guess, because it's fun to be there.
Yeah, it's fun, but like
fun place to not work.
Yeah, they're in shit that look like a soup kitchen. And I know like we had a small conversation about this last week, and I know Novak, you feel me on this one, and Meelz, you feel a way about this too. But it's like I think that if I'm the regular layman and I'm flipping channels and I see that they're in fucking 2300 Arena and it looked crazy in there and it's lit bad and it looks crazy, I'm like, what the fuck is this on TV? I'm not gonna watch this because it doesn't look big time. It looks like some shit that could be on public access TV.
Yeah, I think that's a major thing as well when people flick past it on television and see like, yo, what the, and then also people you don't really actually know, like there aren't any real recognizable people that are on the show.
Yep.
Especially at this point. The one major recognizable person that's always been in AEW has been Chris Jericho, and it looks like he's no longer going to be part of AEW. I'm still holding my breath. I won't believe it until I see it. But all indications based on like previous behavior of people leaving AEW, this is trending in that direction.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not being on TV, not being mentioned at all. Him at a press conference saying we would really like him back. You know what I'm saying? Like all the little check marks of like, all right, he may be on his way out. It's definitely being checked. But there's no one recognizable on television. But also, you know, I had this discussion with a buddy who kind of was like, you know, big AEW fan, and I'm just like, I don't think you guys are being honest from even just the top to the bottom, right? When you look at Hangman Adam Page, and I stressed to my friend this, I stressed him, I was like, the decision, and granted, you couldn't have done the decision at this point now, because it didn't make any sense, because Ospreay's neck is it's fucked up. But the decision was clear, and I cannot tell you how many times AEW has had the right decision in their face and whizzed right past it.
Yes.
For
the guy. We sat here on episode 400 and we said, this is not a good idea. And then the chat was like, well, we got to end the Death Riders. I'm like, that is not how you end a long-standing storyline like this. It's not even how you end him and Swerve, right?
Yeah, like him and Swerve ended on like a backstage segment of them like mutually agreeing, like, yeah, we're in this together. But considering the history that they had, that's why I was trying to stress so much of like, it really should be Hangman teaming up with Swerve, not Ospreay. Yeah. It really doesn't make any sense, to be honest, the other way around.
It's this type of lack of, I'll say it's the visuals. It's this lack of cohesion with the stories. It's the lack of star power. All of these things have been a slow poison pill that have affected this show for, I would say, 3 years at this point. I think, and I'll still say this, the moment Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson came out together that same night, it was the beginning of the end. You don't get much better than that. You can't get much better than that because your structure was already shaky, right? So when you keep losing people, you keep losing guys, you keep losing girls, it starts to show that the cracks are there creatively. The cracks are there production-wise. The cracks are there all over. You're putting Taz in the rafters. He don't want that.
He looked audible. He was like, I don't even.
He literally even said he didn't want it, and Meltzer was trying to argue for him. Like
listen,
I just wanted to come to work.
He doesn't fucking want that. So now we're here with this 475,000 sum, and I'll say the other big elephant in the room is this big rights deal they signed almost a year ago at this point.
Yep.
It was like the big thing that everyone was waiting for, the other shoe to drop. Like, this is the biggest day for wrestling. And then it kind of dropped with a whimper, to be completely honest. It happened and we were like, oh, okay, we moved on. What do you guys think WB is looking at as they are looking at their business right now? Biggest, and I think it's safe to say this now, they're going to be the biggest studio of the year in terms of movies this year. They're restructuring their streaming platforms. They're now moving a lot of things away from HBO Max in like very fast to make sure that their streaming portfolio is a little bit cleaner. What do you think they're thinking right now when they see this number?
Go ahead, Novak.
It's tough. Like, I mean, it's really tough. And I think that their issue, again, it's just that they don't seem to have an answer. And now they're doing the thing. It was very obvious as the night was progressing on Collision, as all the matches were being announced.
Oh, yeah.
They're clearly reacting to the bad ratings like WWE used to all the time.
Yeah.
And we'd always hear about how, this was a response to bad ratings. Well, now they're going to try and do that. And I guess now it's really important to their audience and to their show now. Okay, how does this response look? Do people tune in, or is it still just boring and uncompelling?
Yeah.
I tend to think I know where it's going to land, but they need to hope that it doesn't go that way.
Yeah, I tuned into Collision this weekend just because there was nothing going on, and I mean, it wasn't the worst thing on earth, to be honest with you. It was actually probably their best episode that I had seen and I don't watch Collision regularly, but it was one of the better television shows that AEW kind of had just in general. basically because it had a start and ending, which kind of all figured itself out with one another. It kind of made sense, even though the match was, it just is what it is. But it was a pretty fun episode of Collision. But it's clear I had never seen that many stars on Collision in my life. Mox was opening the show. You know what I'm saying? MJF, fresh off of getting married, ain't even take his honeymoon, showed up on the show to close the show. They set up matches galore. I mean, match after match kind of being announced. You know what I'm saying? Just at a breakneck pace. They set up the Dynamite afterwards. It was like, and we got, you know, Hangman Adam Page is gonna face what's the goof's name?
The weirdo,
the dude with the headband, who just signed from Canada.
Josh Alexander. Which when I saw that, I laughed out loud.
I was like, did he beat you the first night?
Yes, he beat him the first night he fucking debuted.
So, but they're making an effort to be like, okay, we're going to promote these shows, but ultimately at the end of the day, like we've seen this effort kind of involve. It doesn't really help much of anything with how the shows go. I kind of want to take a look at the All Out card and kind of get an indication on where these.
Let me pull it up. The All Out card.
Yeah. Get an indication of where these stories are, how these stories are built, because it's not even so much. People are like, AEW doesn't have stories.
They have 6 matches already. Okay, let's go.
Yeah. People are essentially like, AEW doesn't have stories. I'm like, yeah, but you don't have like real good moments with these stories. Like, go ahead.
Adam Copeland and Christian Cage versus FTR. Hurt Syndicate versus Ricochet and Goa. Mercedes Moné versus Riho. John Moxley versus Darby Allin in a coffin match. MJF versus Mark Briscoe in a TBA match. If I had to guess, he's probably going to be for the contract. Tony Storm versus Jamie Hayter versus Chris Statlander versus Tekla for the Women's World Championship. That's 6 matches so far. And 4 of these was just in the last 4 days, I think.
To me, I mean, Copeland is on the poster. This is their comeback to Toronto. Yeah. This is their thing. I don't think it's even been as close as exciting when looking at this. There's nothing to really grab on. And I kept telling my friend, I was like, if I were AEW and I would coming up with creative, the first question I would be asked is why I'm doing this. Because I don't even think they answer. I feel like a lot of AEW creative comes from the standpoint of, this would be cool if we did
you know what'd be funny?
Yeah. One of those questions like those. But it doesn't come like actually like, why are we doing this? Like, what do we want to gain from this? Ultimately, like, where do we want this to kind of go after and even during it? And I see Adam Copeland and Christian Cage versus FTR, and it's like, that's a match that clearly they want to happen. But to me, it feels so, it feels, why? It's so stunted too.
Because there's also the element of a lot of this stuff, and this goes back to the story element, is narratives and storylines that aren't necessarily always built on the show. Like, a lot of AEW is so insider that it's like
exactly.
You're walking into an MCU or a DCU movie, and you're in this is the 6th movie of a 20 movie series, and you're like, well, what do you mean these guys had a story, or Edge lives around the corner from them, and you know what I mean? Like, this isn't stuff that's actually built anywhere on TV. And if you remember, even the outset of the stuff like
now,
that,
they're going to tell you. By the way, they're going to tell you you're wrong. By the way, because they're like, this clearly happened at this point. The mere fact is, it's just not compelling enough, good enough. To be honest with you, because they're going to tell you you're wrong. Everyone's going to say this happened on TV. Like, this happened. You didn't. FTR took out Copeland months ago. Copeland comes back, somehow teams up with Christian. They beat up Christian's stable, and now they're beating up Edge's stable. So it's kind of like, they're going to tell you you're wrong that these things actually happen. But the thing is like, there's no there's no turn point of why you need to buy into these guys being as evil as they are. FTR don't put no fear of God in me. FTR?
And it doesn't help that Cope has done the comeback thing a million times in the last 4 years or so. He's ruined that for himself, I think, and he's kind of working against himself with his own story. In my opinion,
we're gonna talk about comebacks this episode and ones that work and ones that don't. But
but even like Mercedes Moné versus Rio.
Oh boy,
we don't even.
You just activated Novak like the Manchurian candidate.
No, honestly, my problem there isn't so much with who's in it, but it's asking why is this happening?
Why is this happening? Rio was not. You couldn't ask anybody off the top of their head when's the last time they saw Rio before she showed up on Wednesday. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're building towards this Alex Windsor thing.
I think it would out of people.
Yeah, they are. They genuinely are, and it's because they keep doing this thing where they feel obligated to do a title match every single month, every single time at these shows, or they do a title match once a month.
Yep.
Look at, and again, I think this is what's working against them is the fact that they feel anything that seems like WWE will be rejected, even though that's just wrestling.
Yeah.
WWE has been proven the last 3 years you don't need to do that, and no one. I don't think anyone has complained that they haven't had a title match at a big show or even a small show.
They do. They absolutely do complain.
Yeah.
I mean the wrestlers themselves. Right. I don't know if they do or not. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But they've gotten people to buy in. And I think they could do that in AEW. It would definitely help them, especially with the women. Because you don't need to be feeding these people to the champions every month and have them lose and be like, oh, well, why is nothing compelling?
Yeah. And to that point, it's like we look at Rhea Ripley hasn't had a match since like right after Evolution, right? Still gets major pops. She's an attraction. Mercedes Moné is not an attraction for this show anymore.
But she should be.
She should be. Yeah. Tony Storm should be an attraction on this show. I said this in the chat the other day. Tony works entirely too much.
Yes,
she works too much, and with a shtick and a gimmick like that, it will start to. Well, I don't know what these guys or these people watching. Like, it'll start to be flat.
Because the other thing is, like, when was the last time she did a vignette?
Oh, shit. Wow. Yeah.
Like, they dropped all that stuff when the Mariah feud ended, I guess. But, like, that helped her.
Yeah.
It helped her get over, obviously. So, like, you could have her work vignettes and not... I wouldn't be upset if she didn't work the shows if they were doing that. But the way that they structure it, it's just... silly.
Yeah,
and that's the part of it is that, like, again, if you were to come in, if you were to come in and see Tony Storm sight unseen, and you watch for 2-3 weeks, you'll not know what the whole deal with her is. It'll seem indie. It'll seem like it's not something you pick up just by watching. It's something that you picks up by them building it, right? And you look at Monet, you look at Mox, who for all intents and purposes, guys, he should have been on TV. He should have gone on a break after he lost the title. He's worked entirely too much since he's lost the title. He worked too much now.
He literally worked the show after he lost the title.
He did, yeah. He worked the show right after. They have part of the problem, and I think part of the reason for their ratings decline right now in a simple way, they've made everything that happened at All In, the big things, all meaningless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tony Mercedes doesn't mean anything anymore. I mean, again, Mox has worked too much, and Hangman clearly isn't the guy, so that title match and title win doesn't mean anything, especially when they ran the match back 2 weeks later anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They spent all this time just devaluing everything that's happened at their big show.
And then another match that isn't on this card, which will surely be added, is Hangman Adam Page versus Kyle Fletcher. And it's, to me, it's
another one where you guys said, like, wouldn't this be cool if this happened?
Yeah. And like, it's but it's like, why is this? He didn't even win a match to get the damn title match. Like, this is his first title match ever, or at least it will be. And he hasn't won the right. He hasn't beat. I mean, there's no title scene. That's another part of it.
No.
So there's no title scene. So it's kind of like this revolving door. They might as well bring back rankings at this point, because then that would explain it. But
boy, at this point, I'm tapping my arm like The Rock, bruh. If they bring those shits back, I'm ready to slander.
Yeah, well, I don't want to mention it because they actually will bring it back. They're like, you know what? That wasn't half a bad idea. Why did we let it go for the second time? Because remember the first time they blamed Punk, it was like Punk didn't want rankings.
Yes, they did.
And Punk was absolutely right. So like, that's
yep.
But because people just start winning matches. I mean, they've lessened up the win-loss record thing as well, because at this point it really doesn't matter, because Kyle Fletcher just got a match just for no reason, or is going to get a match. But I think it's just, again, if I'm anyone in the back and I look at this, people have been there for years, right? People who have been working hard or whatever. Like Kyle Fletcher, I guess, yes, the moment is there, and they're clearly pushing him as a guy. And apparently they will, if there is a machine there, this is the benefit of the machine that they have at AEW, because they are pushing him clearly. They're not pushing other people, which other people should be looking at it and being like, if they could do this, if they could give this guy all the resources to be able to do this, why can't I have all the resources to be able to do this? But it just, again, why? But he's gonna beat him, and then
then it goes to, literally, Tony had a quote this morning. He says, "I think AEW is having our best year yet, start to finish. We can pull this thing off right now in September and since January. I think we're having the best year of wrestling from January to September. We've accomplished so many cool things, hit new milestones. We did our biggest crowd in North America. We set the record for most wrestling fans ever at the O2. Gonna have a huge all out in Toronto. Our weekly TV shows, most importantly, are really good shows." Like these fly in the face. They're completely the opposite of what we're all saying, other than
that's the shit I say in the interview when I want to make myself feel popping. You know what I'm saying? It's like I've 40,000 listens.
Like they're pushing. They're trying to, like, now they're trying to push us to say that Bandito is the wrestler of the year.
Yeah,
that's what they're saying.
But my thing is, again, they're doing themselves a disservice, because anyone, and I had this back and forth with Ricochet on Twitter, but I was like, you can't, just because people prefer WWE doesn't mean that they're absolved of having criticism about AEW and the reason why they don't like it. There's a reason why it's preferred, and it's not preferred because they don't like AEW. That's just weird. You know what I'm saying? The people have reasons in terms of like why they don't like this show, why they don't think this is very, very strong, why I don't think the writing is strong in general. And I have my same, listen, we get to the actual shows this week on Patreon. I got some stuff to say, because it has not all been good in WWE land either. But
I think this has been one of their it's probably been the most uninteresting year under Triple H yet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which I think it's reflective of, the new standard that they set, but it hasn't really all been hits for WWE either.
Right. But with AEW, it's the same problem happening for years. And there are slight changes in it. There's slight improvements in various things, quality of life improvements more so. But they just go through the same process. Like, I can't believe Mercedes Moné has probably been on every pay-per-view. And everyone, for the most part, other than the series of Chris Statlander, has had a different opponent. And you're just going through these opponents. I would have put Alex Windsor on this pay-per-view at this point. I was like, what's the harm? You've been feuding with her. It makes sense. If it's been competitive, just continue it from there. Don't just drop Rio in and just Rio comes back 2 weeks, gets knocked off, goes back to wherever the hell she was previously. This women's world title match is a product of weeks of all-stars 8-woman tags.
People thought it was a tag match.
I genuinely thought, because of how they booked the segment, Chris got the win in the tag match. They all got beat up by whatever they call themselves. I forgot the name of it. And then Jamie Hayter came out, and she fended them off. And at first I was like, oh god, they're gonna have Tony and Jamie Hayter team up when they haven't addressed anything. And then there was reluctance. It sounded like they made that match, and then Meelz, you were like, "Oh, that's a fatal 4-way." I'm like, "Huh?" like none of these people have really done anything to warrant title shots. Why is Tony just handing them out like candy? It's a It's a 4-way match. She's put herself at a disadvantage. She looks stupid. She just got beat up.
You know what would be cool? If
Exactly.
Match. You know, it'd be funny if they all lost to Tony from 18 power drivers.
It's anyway. Just it's a AEW. I mean, the ratings will probably go up this week. I think it's more of a call to action for everybody to watch the show, and we'll probably see that over the next couple days.
What? 500's still bad.
Yeah, it's still bad.
Yeah. Like they actually did get an increase on Collision from putting everybody on it, but that increase got them to 300,000. Like, who cares?
Yeah, it just
that's still terrible.
But
it's up 54%. They can out
that. We did it.
Yeah.
Let's get to the other big thing. Let's dedicate our last kind of 30-40 minutes to this. This was rumored. This was something we didn't think would happen. This was something that was just out of the realm of just like what we ever thought could be possible or plausible in the last 10 years. And on SmackDown, it finally happened. What I don't get is people thinking that it was going to be anything other than this. I don't understand how people still do things like this. Like Triple H, for as much as he does have shortcomings as a booker, he doesn't ever really bait and switch people when it comes to like what you really want, right? Like, pretty much what you think you're going to get from him. So people thinking it was going to be Rhea or someone else coming out on SmackDown was insane to me. I was like, what has he given you guys to think? He was talking to Rhea backstage. I'm like, yeah, but she didn't.
I think people still have PTSD from Vince shit.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, bro, he's literally never done anything like that. So why y'all think he's going to do it now?
I remember it might have been that year. I forget which year it was. It was for the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania, where who won the Royal Rumble that year? Was it Randy?
It was Randy. Yeah, it was Randy.
Randy wins. And I'm like, oh, bet we about to see Randy versus John Cena again. And then they just switch opponents for no reason. And suddenly this blood feud with Triple H and Randy Orton has to be established. And then this triple threat match and that's the kind of bait and switch they used to do. Because back in the day, Vince used to be like, let's just do some other shit. And you just do some other shit. But for him, I mean, H usually... you get what you want. When you think of the Seth Rollins thing that happened at SummerSlam, it wasn't out of the blue. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Even with like, oh my God, he's actually injured. Is he actually injured? We were still in our brains like, but what if it happens?
Exactly.
You know? Yeah, exactly.
Like even last week with the world title thing, we're like, but what if Liv comes back? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because based on television and kind of like how they write things and the behavior of how they write television, you usually can see the finish line or what they're going for anyway, telling the story. And it was no more prominent than what happened. I mean, we talked about it last week, Monday on Raw, but when they transition over to SmackDown, it was no more clear than when Becky shows up on SmackDown for no particular reason.
Exactly. That was the only tell anyone really needed.
Yeah. Oh, we're in Chicago. Oh, we're doing this. It's like, oh, okay. And that's why people tuned in, right? Like, again, no announcement for it. You know what I'm saying? Nothing but people are like, oh, it's happening. You know what I'm saying? Everyone recording their reactions to it. All that, like, a big deal.
Yeah. And Becky comes out. Can we, and I know we're gonna just completely gush over everything that's going on here, but some of Becky's best work, in my opinion, since the heel turn in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
I think she said it on Cody's podcast a while ago that she prefers being heel because I think she understands more of how to make the person look as a heel more so than a face.
Yeah.
Because she's not as good as she's better at making other people better than she is making herself. So
because she had mentioned on that show, she was like, you have to be really selfish to be a babyface.
Yeah.
And that makes a ton of sense and why some people have been able to succeed at that, some people have not. And I totally get where Becky is reading the room there on that as well.
Absolutely. But she's always done this. So when she gets to this point, I mean, she is in full mode. She understands what's happening. And I think she also sees like the business behind this of like, okay, this is good business for everyone involved.
So she comes on SmackDown. Chicago sucks. CM Punk sucks. The Blackhawks suck. The White Sox suck. They are giving it to her. And to her credit, she's not folding at all. She chided Kobe
Kobe White.
Yeah, they said that's where they're going to trade your ass. And Kobe White looked like he was on another planet the whole night.
I hope so. Come to the Knicks, brother. I'll take him. Fuck it.
Oh, but then out of nowhere, we get CM Punk coming out. CM Punk comes out once again. She starts slapping him up again. And then CM Punk says, you know, do you think I can't get the Eradicator Rhea Ripley to
I got shooters. He says I got shooters.
I got shoot. It's so funny that everyone started booing Rhea Ripley. This is the first time she's been booed in years.
Yeah.
And then he said, you think I can't get Bayley to come whoop your ass? Everyone's like, no, not Bayley. No, not Bayley. And then walks out.
Mind you, Bayley's there.
Yeah, she's there. She snuck off in the tunnel or something.
Bayley's a good, like, she loves this shit because, again, not even work that she's required to even be there for, but she's there for the moment nonetheless.
Exactly. Yeah. Such a great moment for her. But, you know, Punk says, I found somebody, I'm not going to hit a woman, but I found somebody who could hit you for me. And AJ Lee comes out. And WWE's had some pops, okay? They've had some fucking pops. I think this year, their best pop to me was Cena SummerSlam when the black and white went away.
Yeah.
Like, that was an insane pop. They've had some pops this year, no doubt about it. This was one of the craziest pops I have heard as a fan ever. AJ Lee comes out. She looks like she just stepped right out of 2015. Look like she never even skipped a beat, bro. Like she looks
skin
great.
Looks great. Yeah, skin looks great.
She looked really, really good. She comes out. She gets it popping with Becky, beats her ass, you know, does what she got to do, parades around with the IC title, which I thought the IC title thing was like a little gag. You know, sometimes people hold up the belt. So smart. They actually weave that into the story.
They did.
Very good. Very good. And then from there, you get 4,156 bajillion views of her return.
How have you guys always? I want to ask you this. Sorry to cut you off, Justin, but I want to ask you guys, like, how have you felt about AJ Lee just prior to even this return? So, like, how did you feel about her during her run? If that makes sense.
You want to go first, Justin? That's fine.
Yeah, for sure. I know you got words, but I always thought that AJ Lee felt like she was before her time. I've always been a huge AJ Lee fan. I think like the one thing about AJ is that like the return felt far-fetched to me because it really did. Like as she said on Raw, it really did feel as though she had done everything. Honestly, before knowing that there were more things to get. Right?
Yeah. Before they created more mountains, more hills. Exactly. There was that one hill that she pretty much accomplished. This would be like if Mercedes was just like, I've done it all.
Yeah, pretty much. And and truly, she, like there were no more mountains to cross for her because she was already great. She was already incredible and amazing, and you know, a great in-ring competitor. But the skill ceiling has gone up, and up and up and up. So it's like for her to be good. And she was damn good for where she was in 2015. Everyone there's always a what if. You know what I'm saying? And I think for me, it was always a what if because she was great on the mic. She was a great wrestler. And we had this conversation before, like she was never given that chance. She was never given those 10, 15, 20-minute extravaganzas.
No.
Now I'm like, I want to see that.
Yeah. Because she kind of also came up. It's like an era that she's like, I would say, if I had to say, Paige was like essentially like the last diva. You know what I'm saying? Like if I had to say it, but she's incredibly close as well. But she I think she tried her best to elevate the division in a way during a period where you just couldn't. There was no talking to anybody. There was no doing anything. As much as, again, even the Bellas themselves putting on better matches, having better things. There was no one who was going to say like, yo, we shouldn't have these 3-minute matches until she eventually spoke out about it. She was the champion. She spoke out about it, kind of really changed how things are kind of done moving forward with contracts. She decided to be outspoken because probably at this point she was like, I got nothing to lose. I've done it all. You know what I'm saying? But to me, as a competitor in the ring, I don't remember. A lot of my AJ Lee memory is like WrestleMania 30, which is the end, and like past that. But I know she had a lot of matches against the divas of that era. But I just, to me, they're not really, a lot of it in my brain, and I hope no one shoots me or kills me for this, but they're not really memorable because they're all like short and like not a major part of the show. The most memorable things about AJ Lee were her interactions with the men. You know what I'm saying? Her making Bryan Danielson lose the title in 8 seconds. Her being the GM of Raw, her getting between CM Punk, her being with Ziggler, her being with these things, and it helped elevate her character to the standpoint of where she was when she was able to stand on her own. She was incredibly successful. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of like my take on her previously. Go off, Novak, please. Let us know. Take us to
yeah. So I mean, to boil it down so simply, I've long credited Punk and AJ for getting me back into the fandom because I petered out by the end of 2009. The guest host stuff did not hit for me. SmackDown was pretty worthless, so I stopped watching. And I mean, I didn't really carry that into college, at first at least. And then those two started emerging. And I mean, I always, yeah, I mean, Meelz, you're not necessarily wrong at all about talking about what's memorable about AJ's career, her in-ring versus her moments or promos or interactions with the over, dudes like Bryan and Punk and Cena and Ziggler and all those other guys. And like the thing that always really struck out to me and what made her stand out, especially at that time, was just her promo ability. She could talk, and it helped get her over. It helped make her significant because, like, realistically, I don't really think that there were many great acts that were women that were also great talkers. You had good talkers, I think, people who could carry themselves, certainly, but no one out there who could, emote like AJ did or talk like AJ did, deliver like she did, get herself over like she did. She was one of a kind, and like you said, she was definitely before her time. If she comes up, like, probably if she gets signed in like 2013, she probably comes out and has an Alexa Bliss like run. I think.
Yeah, the horsewomen look extremely different if she signs around.
Yeah, agree. And so it's like, and I was content with how things were as well. I never envisioned her ever coming back. But
Novak, did you ever read her book?
Yes, I actually. Fun fact: I actually got it signed as well. And when I did that, I had to drive up. I don't know if you're familiar with this road, Meelz. It's in New Jersey. I had to drive up I-78 in the rain about an hour and a half to get to Ridgewood for her book signing that day.
Wow,
that was back in 2017.
I want to ask you a question. Because it always felt like at that time she wanted to rebel against what divas were supposed to be, and it garnered like actual real heat, I guess. Well, I guess that was what I wanted to kind of ask. Like, was it actual real heat? It felt more so she was going against the established idea of what women were supposed to be in WWE. But then I think people who were the women who occupied that avatar of what women were supposed to be in WWE also felt offended by that. So I'm not sure if it created any actual heat between them or anything.
Yeah, I always got this. I always got the sense, and again, this could be younger brain me not really knowing anything that was going on at the time, and I still don't think I do. I always felt like her and the Bellas didn't get along. I think that her comments might have, pissed them off in particular. I don't really know.
Yeah.
Because I also, not to get controversial here or whatever, but when AJ had spoken out in February 2015 about, getting better, pay or whatever for the women, and she called out Stephanie on Twitter, Nikki Bella was quick to put down the fire and toe the company line, and the quote's still out there. She didn't really have great things to say about women getting paid more or whatever, and where she feels they belong. I mean, besides that though, I feel like everyone kind of got along. I don't really ever recall anything getting out of hand at the time. I think it was just such a weird time because I feel like everyone could kind of realize like, okay, this isn't right. They shouldn't be doing that. There's no reason not to make them like the men. And a year later NXT comes around and that they prove a point immediately. And so it's like the disenfranchisement keeps going, and it's like, okay, we need this to happen there. And AJ kind of was an avatar for those people who wanted better for the women, because she put herself out there like that. And I think, as always, everyone, some people had the right idea and the right intentions, but they might have come off poorly. But as far as heat with the wrestlers, like I said, I've always kind of felt like the Bellas and AJ didn't really get along. I'm curious to see how that dynamic plays out now, with AJ and Nikki being around now on the same show.
One more thing, though. Do you feel like she left? I mean, a lot of it was her mental health. Do you feel like it's also the Punk thing that it helped with her leaving as well?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there was no point in being in that toxic work environment. And I was kind of waiting for that shoe to drop the entire time. It's why the Survivor Series match with her and Nikki, I was so annoyed with it, because I thought I just saw the end. And I thought that
it was a weird match.
I thought they embarrassed her on the way out, that she got kissed. Brie kissed her, and then Nikki rack attacked her, and she lost in 18 seconds. And that was it.
Mm-hmm. It was definitely, so looking back at that time, she comes in right before the tide changes, and probably the reason why the tide changes a lot is because she left the kind of, it was already happening in NXT, but the opportunity for more women to kind of come up, and she gave that opportunity to Paige, and they wanted to continue to give these opportunities to women in NXT. The landscape now is so different. And while we're working on this, like this Becky and Punk thing, it's been, at least according to various sources, that she's back. Yeah. Like, not like, I'm back for a match or two. Like, she is back. Where do you feel like how do you feel like she can at least contribute to this roster, like, years later on?
So I think that this is good. Obviously, it's a net positive for everybody, because she's such a big deal, and clearly her presence draws a significant amount of attention, especially online right now with all the YouTube and social views that she has. I think that division has long needed, like, okay, maybe, how Ric Flair came back in 2001 or whatever, and he stuck around for a while, and he was a name, and anything that he did was a big deal. Yeah. Anything that he was involved in was a big deal. If you wrestled him, it was a big deal, even if it was just on TV. I mean, he was doing the crazy shit in 2006. That can sort of be a template here, I think. Trish kind of did it with Zoe Stark. I thought that was a good way for her to give back. She can be involved in this kind of stuff. She has a creative mind for it, obviously. So, yeah, I think that she's going to find good ways to contribute. I like this a lot.
What do you think, Justin?
Yeah, I think that, again, and we'll see when she has her first match, but I don't think she's ever stopped. You know what I mean? Training and being on point with things. I mean, she was involved with WoW as well, so I'm pretty sure she rolled around with some of those girls in practice and stuff like that as well. I think that what she provides is an instant spark for any show that she's at, because you've got a legend on that show. You know what I mean? And you've got more than just a Becky. And I just hope that everyone gets their fair push, because they should be looking at the new generation. I'm glad AJ's there.
Oh yeah,
but they should be looking at the Julias, the Stephanies, and I'm going to keep harping on this until I start to see that change. I think that's my main complaint with Triple H going into 2026, is that you have these girls and you're doing nothing with them. And I hope that now they have an advocate in the way of AJ being there, as well as Nikki too, who can help make things different for these women. So like, I want to see that happen. I really, really hope that like from there we can get the Roxanne feud. I really just want to see her work with the new generation. There's not really anybody current other than like Becky. Obviously, I don't really want to see AJ and Charlotte. You know what I'm saying? That'd be a cool little passing little thing. But like,
I want to give me AJ Bailey, and that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine too.
One or two times, and then I'll be all right. I can always watch the NXT match.
Right.
I think we will get that. I do think we will get that. But again, it's so cool to have her there. the promo. We want to get to the promo on Monday.
Yeah, let's do it.
She comes out. She super pop in Milwaukee as well. She talks about why she left. She said that she left because she felt like she did everything. But she also left because she had mental health issues and she had to get right, and she went to therapy, and the crowd starts chanting therapy and mental health, and very, very strong message from her. And very
I don't know if you saw the Meltzer clip.
What did he say?
He said, "Oh, that wasn't a real chant for therapy. She like phoned it so they would. She like said it so they would chant therapy. That wasn't like a genuine, authentic chant." I was like, "Bro, what are you on?"
I know he doesn't pay attention, but she's always been an advocate for mental health with Nami. I mean, she always posts that stuff. It's no secret.
He's an idiot. But I mean, she talks about, she was fine. It was one thing to see your husband fighting CM Punk or I'm sorry, it's one thing to see your husband fighting Drew McIntyre and John Cena and Seth Rollins. It's another thing to see him getting slapped around. And so she watched Monday Night Raw. She saw what happened, and she said she had to come back. And then that leads out Becky, who is sporting a shiner from Friday. I have to say this: Becky and Seth are doing a put over job to the lengths that we have not seen a top person do in forever.
Yeah, probably not since what H and Stephanie did to Ronda.
Yes, yeah, that's exactly what it is. And it's not even like AJ isn't capable, or they're trying to like make it, they're making this like a huge deal. And Seth going up and saying, give her title back, and AJ sets the ultimatum, like, it's either you come in here and take it, or you agree to a match. And of course, we all know where this goes, and it becomes a match for WrestlePalooza, low key big 4, big 5 level card that we're getting right now, y'all. Like this is actually kind of getting crazy.
Yeah, the debut on ESPN. They're definitely hooking this up with everything and every major star there. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if we end up seeing also Rhea and Nikki versus Kabuki Warriors added to that. Just how big of a star Rhea is. And how like they've been doing nothing with the other, which we will get into on Patreon, about how the women has suffered, especially on SmackDown. But it's growing into this major card, and they've got a bunch of real good stuff thus far on the card, and it's looking like, again, not the standard 5-match joint, because I could see that being added to the card. Cody still thing out.
We'll find out about Cody this week, I'm sure.
Yeah, he should be hopefully done with Street Fighter. You know what I'm saying?
The rumor was always that he would be done before the 20th, but he'd probably have to go back. So I could see him coming back and then going back and filming like maybe another week or so. Because him and Roman, there are, I guess the rumor was that he and Roman will be filming at the same time. So we'll see how that shakes out. But they'll probably all be back for sure before Survivor Series anyway.
Right, because we got Randy versus Drew this week on SmackDown, which should be something.
Yep.
But no, it's looking like a massive card. Do we want to talk about? Well, we could talk about it on Patreon, because also the AJ Lee return did something that normally does not happen, which took all the attention away from Brock Lesnar's appearance on SmackDown.
We should talk about that on Patreon. But as a whole, first 2 shows back, what are we rating AJ Lee's return? What are some things? I know we talked about some things we want to see, but what are we rating it as of right now? Was it a home run?
I think so. I think she's, again, for being away so long and being able to just fall right back into that character in the beats and the moments and understand what makes everything work. Like, that doesn't even, I feel like even Trish had to like kind of like figure it out. We're watching Nikki try to like figure it out in real time, right? Like kind of like piece it all together as she's going. Whereas AJ Lee, and we haven't got to the in-ring part yet, so I can't even hold that necessarily against her. So maybe, I don't know if AJ Lee will have any, will need to like kind of get back into that mode, and it might take time. But as far as a character wise, like she she's someone who fully understood who she was for a very, very long time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's like that switch just went off in her head right as soon as she came out and went into her mannerisms as she was going down to the ring to confront Becky. I think it was a home run, absolutely. I mean, they can't complain about I think AJ said there was like 120 million social views in general, which is insane to say out loud. The in-ring thing, I'm going to be interested also because it wasn't ever really her strength. And I mean, I can't really hold that against her because of how the circumstances were.
Yeah.
Always a better promo, which again, she nailed the promo on Raw. She'll probably continue to ace those. I'm interested in seeing, if there's any early character things on the way to WrestlePalooza that they do with her, Punk, Becky, and Seth. I'm sure they'll agree to something on the way. That'll be fun.
There's a face-off next week on Raw, so
yeah. So yeah, I would definitely say this has been a home run so far.
Yeah. And we're a week away from WrestlePalooza. We'll see what happens ahead. But that is going to be our free show for the week. Thank you, Novak. You're gonna stick with us to talk about this week's shows, of course. But thank you for joining us this week for this large conversation about where are we at now and how can we save AEW. We can't, but we're gonna move over.
I mean, we can't. I mean, it's impossible.
We're gonna move over into Patreon, but thank you guys for listening. Make sure you pay that $5, man. You'll get more conversations with us and Novak, and as well as our show reviews as well. But until next week on the A Show, for Novak and Meelz, thank you guys for listening. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.